Hey guys, how you doing? jpsarrireviews here, and welcome again to another action figure review. And in today's video, we're going to cover the real Ghostbusters Kenner Classics by Hasbro. I grew up with these figures back in the day, so to me they have so many great memories, and of course over time, over the years, I lost those figures. So being able to get this without paying so much money in the aftermarket, to me that's good. You know, at least we get something that it might not be the original, but it's very close to it. And when you look at the packaging in these figures, there's some differences. If you really look up close, there's gonna be some changes. Of course, the logos is still the same, but some of the art is a bit different. Now, this is the one for Egon. As you can see, the art, very cool, very close to the cartoon. Here is Ray's stance. Look at that. Also, another thing, the H4 Plus. That's something that was not in the originals. Of course, right there at the bottom says Kenner, which I love that they added that as detail. Now, here we have the art for Peter Venkman. Now, the back of the box, they all have the same box, so you know there's no difference there. It says join the real Ghostbusters and the Ghost Chasing Pursuits. And here you have, I don't know if those are just the images of the prototypes or actually the images of the originals. I really don't know, but they really look really neat. Very different than what you get. It's some minor differences. And of course you get the little vials right there, what they come. Peter Venkman with Grabber Goes, Ray Stantz with the Rapper Goes, Egon Spengler with Gulper Goes, Winston Sedamore with the Chomper Goes. Here you have the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I still need to get this one. Here it kind of gives you an idea how to do the mechanism for the Proton Pack. Here you have, of course, Slimer. I still need to get that one.
The real Ghostbusters will return after these messages.
Alright guys, now I have him out of the package. Of course, my first set, the second set I will keep just in the package forever because, man, I just love these figures. I don't know, like looking at them, it brings me back to my childhood playing these toys, and I'm trying to look for details and differences, and yes, there's some differences. I've seen some videos of people pointing those differences, but when you touch them, they just look the same. It's just a perfect replica. You know, now I would say not 100%, it is 98% close to the originals, and I'm pleased with that. Look at the figures, like for example here with Peter. Look at that. When you look at his face, the paint job they did with this is really well done for these figures. They even had some little heft. I was worried that it will be a lighter plastic. I remember that, of course, you know, I was a child, so perhaps I feel things with smaller hands and things feel heavier or whatever, but it feels so good, man. Look at the paint job. Look at his face. There's some differences. I noticed that, you know, and I saw some videos, some comparisons where when you look at this side by side right next to the originals, the other one's a bit thicker. I think it's just because of the mold they use. Perhaps they didn't have the mold, so they have to replicate the old molds or use the old figures to create the new molds. When you look at the back, there's what the difference is at. The way you insert the Proton Pack is very different from the originals. Also, those, they had the credits, you know, the Columbia Picture credits in the back. This don't have it, which is fine with me. It's not a big deal, but that was something that you saw with a lot of toys back in the day. There's not much articulation, but that's just how you remember these figures. And to be honest, why you need articulation on this? This is just for display. Now look at Ray. Man, Ray looks so happy right there. Man, he looks good. He looks really good. Love that. Love the paint job on him. Yeah, when I look at the colors, they seem to be a bit lighter color-wise. This has as much right there, but you know, nothing major. But man, it's just good, you know. Like, yeah, he was always the chubbier kind. I love this cartoon, man. That was my favorite cartoon, one of my favorite cartoons back in the 80s. Of course, there were other cartoons. Of course, we grew up with Masters of the Universe, Transformers, Smash, G.I. Joe. But I would say that the real Ghostbusters were a favorite of mine for sure. Look at that. The figure looks great, man. Yeah, this minor details with the paint job. It looks lighter. But everything, I would say some of the plastic perhaps feels not as solid. Like I can feel it here with the arms in comparison to the body. The body feels very solid, but in the extremities, you know, feels a bit lighter. Perhaps the plastic is a bit different. Now, Egon was a fan favorite for sure. Look at that because of his design. Very different than the design from the movies. They're all different from the movies, of course, but always see him like that blonde hair and his hair, so iconic, and of course his glasses. He looks really happy there. Man, this is perhaps one of the best. And one thing I always love also about the figures is the height difference. You know, like Egon, of course, was the tallest, but they really, you know, I don't know, it's just the difference that they translate from the cartoon into the action figures. And you can see also the symbol right there. Really neat, if you can see it right there, the Ghostbusters logo. Really cool. Of course, again, no credit, but the peg hole is different. But everything else, this figure is perfect in my opinion. Now, Winston. Looking at Winston, for some reason it looks shinier. Maybe it's just the lighting that I have here, or maybe it's just the way they did the prime, you know, how they primed the paint, all of that. But yes, the green is lighter, and I will say that's the difference with all the figures. Even with Egon, the blue on the original was a darker. The tone was darker, and I think for all of them. But this is lighter, which is not bad. The difference is so minor that you will not even notice. But look at that. Look at that. He looks really happy. I like this one. Also, we get these little creatures, which came with the originals, of course. You have the one from Peter Beckman. This is the Grabber Ghost. They're more like little monsters, little creatures. And one thing I would say that the originals, I think, were lighter. The colors here, they seem to be... They're more translucent, but they're also darker. But it's the same mold. I don't see major differences on this one. It looks pretty much as the original, as I remember. Now here you have the Rapper Goes for Ray Stantz. This one, again, is darker in tone, if I'm not mistaken. So some of that, you know, you have to be in a clear room to see more of the detail. Now this one, I noticed that when you sit it down, it kind of falls. I think the original had the same problem. Now this is the one from Egon. I like this one, the Gulper Goes, and he has the hold as the original. That is really, really cool, man. And one thing that we used to do back in the day, it just put Egon's face right there, you know, like that, which was dumb, but we did all sort of things. But yeah, looking at this one, looks really neat. And yes, this one, it does have a more translucent look. The other one, in my opinion, was more yellow. I don't know, it looks a bit different on the colors, but it's the same mold. And here we have the one from Winston. This is the Chomper Ghost. And this one, the colors is very similar, in my opinion, to the original. Now, one thing I think this one has is that this has this hole. The original didn't have it. It was flat. But, man, I like the detail. I love, man, this is just, you know, memory lane for me. So many great memories. And here we have the Proton Packs. And when I look at the Proton Packs, these are lighter. The blue is lighter than the originals, if I remember well. The detail is pretty much the same, although I like some of because it's lighter, you can see more of the contrast on the detail on this one. I like that. Now, it's the same mechanism as before. You got this little string attached, which it was always a problem, I remember well, because they break so easily. It's hard to find, and I've seen even on some of those stores where you can get some of that retro toys and you can, you know, buy all the vintage stuff. They're always broken. So hopefully this doesn't happen on this one, because of course you got the little mechanism that you put in the arm. And of course you got the string. And of course they all have different colors. Peter has this that is green. When you look at the one from Ray, has this orange color. The one for Egon, which is this kind of pinkish color. Orangey color, like a more darker orangey. And then you have the yellow one that is the one for Winston. Alright guys, what can I say? I'm such a big sucker for the real Ghostbusters. I am a real sucker. And I'm so mesmerized by the idea of seeing these figures back in action. It's just amazing to see that everything goes full circle. These figures that were the ultimate thing back in the day 30 years ago, now having a comeback, and it's just amazing. It's surreal at the same time, makes me feel old but also young at the same time. It's just a lot of emotions combined. But these figures they were my childhood, and to see them again like this, I hope that they can produce more of them, because of course the real Ghostbusters also have other figures. I would love to see the Firehouse again. I would love to see some of the other monsters and ghosts that they were released back in the day. Also, the Fright features, those were amazing. I love those figures, and I also have those. And here, I will give you an idea if you really want to see comparisons right here, right next to the other Peter. That gives you, this is our 6-inch figure, right next to, the classic. It just gives you an idea of the size and the scale. Now, stay tuned for my review of the Ecto one. As soon as I can, I will have it ready for you. But in the meantime, let me know what you think about these pieces. Are you a fan? You're not a fan? Did you grow up with the real Ghostbusters? I would like to hear your opinion in the comments below. So once again, my friends, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button so you're reminded of the next video. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The links are down below. And please consider supporting the channel financially through Patreon. My friends, God bless you. Take care. I will talk to you again. Bye-bye.